All right, well, we have junior presenters, so take it away.
All right, we have 3 presenters this morning, Patel, Iris Reyes, and Eddie Cumberbatch, all from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Pratham.
Hi, my name is Patel, and this is my 6th year from Webb. And for my junior project, I decided to customize shoes. I decided to do this because I've always had a great interest in shoes and I've always wanted to incorporate something into it. And I've noticed that a lot of artists have been customizing shoes for celebrities and it's become a trend. So I wanted to step out my comfort zone by doing something I've never done in my life and hopefully create a new hobby. I originally was going to build a bench, but I knew that this was something commonly done for this project and I wouldn't have enjoyed doing it. So to start off the process, I watched countless number of YouTube videos to find the right paint to prep the shoe and how to apply stencils. And then I gathered my materials, which were acrylic leather, paint and finisher, paint brushes, acetone for prepping, painter's scotch tape, an X-Acto knife for precise cutting and peeling off stencils, shoe stencils, transfer paper, a hair dryer to speed up the drying process, and of course shoes to paint on. Before I even painted, I had to prep the shoe by applying acetone on all the areas I was going to paint. What this does is it removes the factory finished look and it allows the paint to adhere to the leather. And after I did that, I taped the shoe in all the areas I was not going to paint on so I would not make errors. So for the first shoe, I decided to do Burberry Air Forces, and the colors I needed were beige, light gray, dark gray, black, cream, and red. As you can see, the base color was beige, and I did 2 to 3 light coats of each color I would do, and in between the coats, I would use a hair dryer. The picture on the very left shows you that what it would look like with only 1 coat of color, and the 2 pictures beside it is what it looks like with 3 coats of paint. After I did the base color, I moved on to painting the stripes, and the way I did this was I used tape to make the straight stripes, and I had to make sure that the tape placement was proper in each location, and I did this by using a ruler to just measure out the width. The picture on the very right shows you what the toe box looks like 3/4 of the way finished. After I did the stripes, the painting became very tedious because I had to paint in very small areas, and the taping took a very long time since I had to make precise straight squares. And the picture on the very right shows you what the toe box looks like completely finished. After I did the toe box, I moved on to the Nike swooshes. This part was by far the hardest because the surface was uneven and the Nike swoosh is unsymmetrical, so I had to spend a lot of time making the tape placement straight. So this is what it looks like completely finished. After I painted it, I went back with a toothpick and just cleaned up the edges and whatnot. And then I applied matte finisher to replace the factory finish look that I once had removed. And this matte finisher allows the paint to not chip and it be water resistant. And it's also durable. For the next shoe, I did Louis Vuitton Air Forces, and I only needed beige and brown. Once again, the beige was the base color. And the next process was unweeding the stencil. The picture on the very left shows you what the stencil looks like with all the excess material. And I had to peel all of it off with an X-Acto knife. And then the picture on the very right shows you what I needed to use to place it on the shoe. And it was very tricky to peel off because once I did it, a lot of the material that I needed peeled off with it, and it took forever to unweed. It took me about 2 hours. After that, I used transfer paper to move it from the stencil sheet and apply it on the shoe. And I just cut out a rough shape of where I needed to place it. And then I used a hair dryer to lay down the stencils on the shoe, and this allowed it to stick to the shoe properly. And then I painted brown over it, 2 to 3 light coats once again. And after that, I would peel them off, and this is what it looked like. And then once again, I went back with the toothpick and I just fixed up all the areas I had messed up on, such as the paint bleeding through the tape, and then applied matte finisher. This process was very fun, but it also had very annoying challenges like taping process. I think taping took longer than the painting process itself. And then the unweeding part was also very excruciating because a lot of the material I needed came off. And staying calm while painting was also a very big issue because I've never done this in my life. I just jumped into it. And once I got nervous, my hands were very jittery and shaky and I could not paint correctly, but I managed. Although I had these challenges, I did get a lot out of this project. I discovered a new hobby, which I never knew I could do this. And I'm willing to do this to make money by customizing shoes for other people. And this project allowed me to gain a new inspiration to create more complex shoes. And I realized that perfection isn't the key while patience is, because something like this takes hours. My first pair took around 16 hours and the Louis Vuitton ones took around 8 hours. And lastly, I gained a great appreciation for artists who hand make things, because knowing how long it took me, I can't imagine how long it would take them to perfect their craft. Lastly, I would like to thank my parents for the financial support, Mr. Mahoney for keeping me on track and being a great advisor, my friends for the moral support, Tech Booth for setting this up, and all of you for listening. Thank you.
Okay, hey guys, I'm Reyes. This is my 6th year at Webb, and for my junior project, I created an environmental blog. So, starting out choosing a project, I knew I wanted to do something that was associated with the environment, because recently I've been getting more involved in service projects outside, and also educating myself on things us humans need to do to not be extinct in 100 years. And so I thought a good way to do that would be having firsthand experiences with like little environment projects. And then also I'd have the opportunity to improve my writing by blogging everything down that I did. So a majority of this project was just research. I had planned to get in contact with people so I could learn from interviewing people and talking to professionals about information I wanted to write about or put into projects. And so all my events got canceled because of coronavirus, but an online Earth Day, which was in April, was hosted worldwide, and basically a ton of meetings on Zoom were hosted, and I talked to dozens of scientists, big-name environmentalists, and professors for 17 hours. And things they taught me, things like composting, a lot of them talked about just the issues in the environment and how they work. And on the bottom left, you can see I talked to actor Dominique Provochocli, who has her own website about the environment, and she gave me a lot of advice on starting up a website and how to connect with viewers. So after I had learned information in general about environmental issues and projects like composting, gardening, etc., I went and used what I knew and put them into projects. So like on the bottom left, you can see this lovely picture of me gardening. I started a garden, and I first started out by tilling the yard, which is like really hard. I had no idea how difficult it was going to be, and I started off at like 8 at night, and I ended at 3 a.m. And then you can see the picture on the top right. That's in the parking lot at a Dollar Tree. And so you can see they're just bushes with trash everywhere. You can see masks, water bottles. And so I spent some time going to places like this and areas in my neighborhood. I live like right next to a Kroger, so there's a lot of bush-like trash places that look like this, and I clean them up. And you can see at the bottom, it's a screen cap of kids on Zoom. I got in touch with environmentalist youth group, and we're still in touch, and they really helped me out with how people our age can do things, because there's not much we can do as young people, but they taught me that just getting in touch with each other and spreading information is enough as it is. So you can see, these are the gardens I built. You can see on the left and right, I had about 9 vegetables in the gardens and then 1 fruit watermelon. And they worked out pretty well. They're both organic gardens. So it was really difficult to get soil that worked out without ruining the plants. So these are the food I grew. You can see the watermelon. There's tomatoes, squash, and corn. And you can see me happily holding the kale that I grew. So from these firsthand experiences and also just information I wanted to explain to people in a simpler way, I created a website to compile all the things I'd learned together and share with people I knew wanted to help out with the environment but didn't know how. I got in touch with a few hundred people on Twitter that are like my age, and this is something they're interested in, and they like to view my website. And so I used Wix, which is a website application, and it basically has templates on how you can create a website. And this was the worst part for me, because it's really technical and there's a ton of really detailed little things you can include. And I just personally don't like having a ton of options because I think it's confusing and it was really complicated for me. Some of the problems I had during the summer was I had a computer crash, like my computer completely stopped working and I had to buy a new one. Technology, I'm just really bad at working with the website. Like I said before, I don't like working with a ton of options and figuring things out on my own. Getting in touch with a lot of the people I had spoken to, some people were in India, Asia, regions across the world that were difficult to have like a stable Zoom call on. And also a bunch of random people kept hacking my Zoom calls and writing like inappropriate things on the screen. I guess they have beef with the environmentalists, but I don't know. So I learned a lot. I thought this project was really helpful for me. Coronavirus is the only reason I could have learned what I did. I got to speak to so many people that I wouldn't have gotten to speak to if I didn't do this online. And my neighbors also got really mad at me after I had spent the night tilling the yard, which is like a really loud machine that prepares the soil for gardening. And they also keep making passive-aggressive comments about my garden. So we're not on good terms. And I had a really hard time communicating with people I don't know before this project, and I think just speaking to people really helped. Also, writing, this is a blog, meaning that like I have to write a ton of different little posts about what I learned and information, and it just really helped me learn my writing style. And also, I do want to pursue, have hobbies that have to do with the environment. Like I like gardening, composting, things like that, and I plan to do it in the future. So this is my website. So this is the homepage of my website. It's called Nature's Nation. And I bought a domain, meaning that like if you look this up, like Nature's Nation, this is what's going to come up. And so this is a homepage which just explains what my website's about, the things I'm writing about. That's something about me. And just showing viewers what kind of posts I'd be posting. And so this is the blog part. So I basically had a bunch of little blogs, like there's things like recipes I learned with the food I grew. There's just telling people how they can make change in their own communities. I wrote articles about gardening, plastic waste, just little things people can do that aren't that hard but do make a difference. So like here's an article. And this is just about telling people that they have the power to make an impact in their own communities. And so that's just like what one of my articles would look like. I also have a resources page which just shows where my information comes from, and then a contact page. If people have questions, they can text me from here. And also I send newsletters if I have new posts and stuff. So I want to thank my mom for financial support. You have to buy a domain, and it's kind of expensive. It's like $127. And then Mr. Mahoney for being a great advisor. And also everyone I spoke with. I wouldn't have been able to do anything I did if I didn't get information from them. And so thank you for listening.
Hello, my name's Eddie Cumberbatch, and this is my 6th year at Webb. And for my junior project, I made a floating bed. Originally, I didn't want to do this. I had another project in mind. I wanted to take pictures and create a portfolio. And then over summer, I was on TikTok, and I saw a video of someone making the bed, and I was like, I should do this. And originally, I also wasn't planning on doing it for myself. I was going to make it for my sister or one of my cousins. And for the project, what I needed was just a 1-pound box of 3-inch nails and 9 planks of untreated wood that needed to be cut to size, and then LED strips to go under the bed. And here's a video of me at Home Depot getting the wood cut down to size. And here's a video of me loading it into Brady's car because my longest piece of wood was 6 feet and that would not fit in my car, so I had to have him help me. So the process was I had to create the base that would sit under the actual frame to make it look like it was floating. And so the picture on the left is that, and then the second picture is the supports that the actual frame would connect to, and then the next one is the frame sitting on it, and then the third one is it completed with the lights under it. And so this is what it looks like with the mattress on it, and then this is what it looks like with another box spring on it to give it height. So as you can see, the bed looks like it's floating because the frame under is hidden from view when you look at it from like a standing point of view. So some of the problems I faced were space. I didn't know if I could build it in my room because I didn't know if I have enough room. So I built it in another room in our house that's bigger. And then also my car wasn't big enough to fit all the wood, so I'd have Brady help me. And then Home Depot is confusing, if it may not seem like it is. And Brady also helped me navigate through Home Depot. And then the drill was difficult to use because when I was drilling in the nails, the wood sometimes was split or the nails wouldn't go in like at the correct angle. And then the mattress, there was no box spring at first, so when I put it on the frame, the mattress would slip through, and that's why I got the box spring. I learned from this that I like doing hands-on things and that I like working with tools. I learned how to use a drill and navigate big stores like Home Depot. And I'd like to thank Ms. Camp for helping all the juniors with their project, Mr. Mahoney for being the best advisor, Brady for helping me with this car, and my parents for financial support.
Great job, presenters. So I have the spooky joke of the day. Why are skeletons so calm? 'Cause nothing gets under their skin. Thank you to everyone who's dressed up for the Spirit Days this week and for Tacky Tourist Day today. Just a reminder that if you're not in a spirit wear, that you need to be in your uniform. Today during Feet Life, we'll be having a pep rally in Barton starting at 2:30, so all students report there at Feet Life. The seating will be the same as the mariachi band. Homecoming rehearsal is immediately after the pep rally, so meet Miss Solons and Miss Jones if you're on homecoming court at the football field right after. And tomorrow will be 80s Day, and during lunch we'll be bleach dyeing t-shirts, so if you have any older t-shirts that you want to bleach dye, or when you get your homecoming shirt, if you want to bleach dye that, we'll have that set up to where you can like bleach dye it and then wash it out, and we'll put it in a bag so you can take it home and wear it for Friday, or wear your homecoming shirt on Friday. And on that, the homecoming shirts will be given out at Health Check at the gym tomorrow or during lunchtime, and student council members will be there to give it to you. And if you're wanting an extra shirt, there's no guarantee that you'll get one, but if you see me or Miss Jones, we can put you on the list. It's kind of first come, first serve of if you want to buy one of the extra shirts that may be left over. And Friday night will be our homecoming football game. The theme will be neon, and we'll be going against Mount Juliet Christian. So come out and support that. And now at this time, we want to ask the golf team to come on stage. So congratulations to them. They finished runner-up in the regional tournament on Monday. And Connor Brown finished first in the region, showing a spectacular, I'm sorry if I messed it up, -567. Is that right? Cool, okay. Noah Brown played his best round this season, shooting a 74. Andrew Reeves and Charlie Mitchell rounded out the scoring, and Kennedy Clarkson gained some valuable experience playing in her first of many regional tournaments. So you give them a hand. So because of the great turnout, the boys team will be advancing to the Division IIA state tournament next Monday and Tuesday at Willowbrook and Manchester. So when you see them around campus, make sure to congratulate them on their win. Congratulations to Sydney Sinclair, the winner of the bookstore Halloween shirt design. Thank you to all of the participants in the contest. There were a lot of great entries. Check your email later today for the order form with the design. Orders will be due on Monday, October 12th. Are there any announcements from the floor? Go ahead. Thank you, Kelly.
To go along with homecoming week, we are going to acknowledge both today and Friday some of our senior student athletes. Some of these student athletes got a senior night or will get a senior night coming up. Unfortunately, our golf team and our cross country team didn't get a true senior night, so we want to make sure we acknowledge those individuals as well. So when I call your name and your sport, if you'll just come up on stage, social distance, but we'd like to kind of congratulate some of our senior athletes. So today we're going to acknowledge golf. So Charlie, once again. Cross country, we have Will, Caleb, Chandler, Feynman, Cedric, and Emma. For girls soccer, we have Abigail, Leanne, and Claire. And for volleyball, we have Cheney, Lauren, and Mary. And I'd also like to acknowledge for volleyball, Sinai, because she was unable to play this year due to injury, but she was at every single game and helped us out with the clock and anything we needed. So I'd also like to congratulate her. And unfortunately, she was unable to play this year, but we are thankful for her commitment to the sport over the last couple years. So here are our senior golf, cross country, girls soccer, and volleyball players. So.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Briggs.
All right, real quick, this Saturday is supposed to rain, torrential downpour all weekend starting on Friday night. So the rock climbing trip, if it truly is on Saturday morning, we wake up and it's pouring, we're going to go to High Point. That's the gym in Chattanooga, the climbing gym. That's the one that has climbs on the outside. I don't know if we'll be able to do that if it's raining, but that's that big structure downtown. Inside is one of the most elaborate indoor climbing arenas in the state. I was making claims up here. So we'll definitely do some kind of rock climbing, even if it's pouring rain. We'll just skirt inside and do that climbing gym. Also, the fall break trip. I'm kind of coming around making sure if you're committed 100% or not. I got some people on the waiting list. So next Wednesday's fall break 4-day canoe trip, I'm going to start tracking you down to make sure you're committed and you need to start coming getting gear from the trail room for that because that's coming up. Fall break is almost here. Wow.
Okay, so the weekend activities. Friday night will be the homecoming game against Mount Juliet Christian at 7. On Saturday, there will be a Kroger trip departing from Rand at 11, and Barden and Fine Arts will be open from 12 to 5. Mass Up movie night in the Student Center at 7:30, and a Sonic trip departing from Rand at 7:30. Sunday, the practice SAT and ACT tests in the library with Mr. Bridwell from 10:30 to 3. And there will be a Target trip departing from Rand at 11. Barden and Fine Arts will be open from 12 to 5. The Student Center will be open from 1 to 3, and the library will be open from 3 to 5. Make sure to put your warm fuzzies in to give to your friends and teachers. And that's all. Are there any more announcements? Okay, we're going to rise to the pledge, but just as a reminder, after the pledge, please remain seated. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Sullins. Okay, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Webb Feet and Tacky Tourists. Thanks again for playing along. Wonderful job, presenters. It's always fun to watch you all, having watched your 6th grade declamations, and to see where you are today is wonderful. I just want to remind you all briefly, as we're within a month of the election, to just remember to be kind and courteous. We can disagree with our peers, our colleagues, our friends, and our family respectfully. And so we always want to make sure that we execute care and love for those in our community, even when we disagree. So please consider that as we move closer to the election. Thank you.
All right, seniors dismissed.